One question that we've gotten from the audience, and we hear this a lot in our conversations with teams as well, is the role of the promoting the athlete, the star athlete versus the team. How are you thinking about that? And what do you have any advice for teams as they think about, should we market our star player? What happens if they move on in a couple of years? Are we going to lose that loyal Gen Z fan that we built around that? Or does investing in the player also, help provide value to the team and long lasting value to the team?
I've got it's a little bit of both, right? So I hate to be old school here, but players, as we all know, come and go. The team, the brand, the venue, the stadium, the experience is there. It'll be there today. It'll be there tomorrow. It'll be there 10 years from now. However, as Anish talked about earlier, access to those players in ways that they've never had before, right? Behind the scenes, off the field, when the player is working out, training, cooking, eating, that's the access. The NBA for years, and it may seem like a simple thing, but all of a sudden we started seeing footage of NBA players arriving in the back door of the arena, walking to the locker room in their fashionable, their garb. All of a sudden that was really cool access, right? We never, as fans, we don't get to be in the back of the arena. We don't get to walk through the catacombs of the stadium, right? All those things. And now all of a sudden, again, other sports do it, but I believe it was the NBA who really did it first. That's access. That's access. So as Anish talked about earlier, yes, there's plenty of on-court, on-field access, but just all the things off-court, off-field, again, training, doing their fun stuff, right? Whether they're a painter or an artist, whatever they might be, right? But they've got other passions and other interests in life, to be able to capture that and share that. Now, all of a sudden, you've created a whole new relationship with the fan, because the fan is starting to become more invested in not just the football player, the basketball player, the baseball player, the lacrosse, the soccer player. They're becoming invested in the athlete. So to me, I hate to say it, it's a combination of both. Because again, that player could be gone next year, right? So you still want to build up the brand, the team, the league, the venue, the stadium, because you still have control over that year after year after year.
So I want to actually start off with that question that we just discussed, Mark, which is, panelists, do you guys care more about the individual player, or is it really about the team? Dylan, if you don't mind starting us off on this one, would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, definitely, Anish. So for me, it's definitely more about the player. I grew up in Virginia Beach, which doesn't have any major sports teams. We have a AA baseball team and a AA hockey team. And I've been to their games, and my parents also don't have any strong preferences towards teams. So for me, it's been a lot about like following American soccer players, watching them progress from the MLS to big teams elsewhere. And then also, hearing about their background. Like Julian Edelman's one of my favorite football players, and he has a cool story. He's a 7th round draft pick, like former lacrosse player who now holds a ton of postseason records. So I kind of follow players from team to team. And obviously good players bring a lot of excitement to the game as well, which provides another reason to watch. But for me, it would definitely be the players.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing, Dylan. Did anyone else want to add anything to that? Mark, did you have any follow-up questions to that?
Let's if someone else in the group is unlike Dylan, who, as he said, based on where he lived, he wasn't really close specifically geographically to any team. Is there anyone who's on the opposite end of the spectrum where you're really close to a team and you really follow that team? And again, players come and go, but it's you're leaning more heavily on the team from year to year. Is there anyone who's just an avid fan of a team?
Yeah, I can speak on that. I actually grew up in the same city Dylan did, but my family's from New Orleans. So grew up being like a diehard Saints fan, and definitely feel more of a connection towards the Saints. And then also the players that transition from the Saints to other teams, following them along. So both the teams and the players, but taking the players from the teams as well. Like I'm a huge Jimmy Graham fan and just follow him and his helicopter experiences as well.
Yeah, and I guess I'll kind of jump in here and follow up with that. I'm from Austin, so obviously with the the University of Texas is a big thing here. When those players get drafted, whether it be in the NFL or the NBA, definitely follow them to whatever teams that they go to, and continue to progress my fandom with them by becoming a fan of whatever team they get drafted by, professional team.